Going live. Going live. Publish this here. Alrighty. Live. Oh, we are live. Okay. Here we go.
Hey, here we are.
Hello. Welcome back. We're doing a little John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. We've got Chapter 4 coming out in March. So we thought maybe we'll do a little review. It's been I saw it once in theaters. I hadn't seen it since, so this was fun.
Okay. Yeah, this was my first time seeing it today, and spoilers, people die. Lots of people die.
Whoa. We'll get into spoilers later, a little bit later.
If you were expecting no one to die in a John Wick movie, you came to the wrong place.
Well, also a spoiler, Keanu Reeves is faster than ever. I mean, his gunplay is just I don't think there's anybody else like it in all of film. We're gonna
Not
be
that I can think of.
I mean, we're gonna be doing Mission Impossible soon because we've got Mission Impossible 7 coming out in a couple months as well. So we're gonna be doing some of that, but this is different. I think John Wick is a totally different thing. They're kind of playing in different realms, I think. But
Yeah.
so a little recap of 1 and 2. We could do it really quick. Some Russians.
Go for it.
They kill John's dog, and he kills all of them. And then there's some other people who are like, "Oh, we're gonna get back at you," and he kills all of them too. But the last one of them, he happens to kill in a hotel that he's not supposed to kill anybody in, and so he's excommunicado.
The Continental.
The Continental. That's it. That's chapter 1 and 2. That's the recap. So chapter 3, it kicks off hours later. So it's pretty much that evening. It's 6:00 when he's excommunicated. So yeah, we're talking like just a couple hours after chapter 2 ends, and it really kicks off with a bang. What did you think of the library scene?
Oh man, I mean, there's so many scenes that are gonna stick with me from this movie because it just had a lot of like fast-paced, cool action scenes, really awesome choreography. Like, I'm sure, did they win awards for this? I mean, they should have.
No, but it looks great.
Wild.
It does look great.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. Yeah, the lighting, the coloring, it's a good looking movie for sure. Very good looking
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, that library scene was cool. I was like so cringing when he was like busting that book through the guy's like jaw.
Dude, I know.
Oh man, that was
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah. I remember the theater was pretty full. The movie had just come out, and everybody was just like, oh no. Yeah, very memorable though for sure. Opening, oof. Yeah, the book. So yeah, that was a cool opening. So we get John Wick back in action. He's hurt. He's already hurt. Like the whole movie, he's there's lots of shots of him shaking. Even in that opening scene in the library when he's he's getting some of his secret stash out of that book, and he's just shaking because he's in so much pain. That's him the whole movie essentially. He's just like hurting and exhausted. And
It only gets worse.
oh yeah, and I mean, just in that opening fight, he gets a knife through the top of the shoulder, and the guy he goes to says it nicked was it a nerve or an artery? But
An artery, yeah.
yeah. Did you recognize the doctor he goes to? There's a lot of cool
No.
little cameos and quotes from Matrix stuff. It's the clock, the key maker. It's the key maker.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so we've
Cool.
got two. Obviously, Morpheus is in the movie as well. But
Oh yeah.
there's a couple of lines. They even say he says the guns, lots of guns line. And
Yeah.
it's cute. You know, it's pretty cute. I appreciate all three of them. They really are aware of the goofiness. I don't know how to put it. It's just
Hmm.
it's kind of like, you know, cheeky. It's cheeky, and it's like, hey, we're a goofy action movie. We're just having fun. You're here to have fun. We're here to entertain you. It's not taking itself
Hmm.
too seriously. So the little line, the Matrix quotes, they're okay. They're okay with me. It's not too tacky.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, no, I like that too. It didn't, none of that stuff bothered me. There were
right.
some things that were like, really, but I would say
Hmm.
that was
Hmm.
actually towards the end for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's definitely some things, but um, yeah. So you know I mentioned Mission Impossible because like John Wick, the Mission Impossible movies have kind of shaped the the genre, and the movies coming after the Mission Impossible movies in that genre, the spy thriller action genre, um, are somewhat derivative of the Mission Impossibles. They get a lot of their style from it, and
Mhm.
um, John Wick is having the same effect on shootouts and stuff. A lot of the shootouts I've seen since the first John Wick came out. I'm not going to show it, but this is when that guy gets his face broken. I don't know how they filmed that shot because it shows him thrown on the table and his neck is resting on the book, and then John gives a nice good last whack, and it looks like it just snaps his
Mm.
neck. I don't know. It must be a little bit of CGI added to it, but it's very effective. But so I'm saying the John Wick movies are having the same effect on shootouts, where I'm seeing a lot more of that tactical approach, where the protagonists and antagonists have that, like, you know, delta movement. You know, it reminds me of you know, it looks like, you know, top tier military, um,
Mm.
mixed with a little bit of kung fu. They've got some kung fu in there as well, obviously, and that's something with
Oh
this
yeah.
movie that's really fun. They have a little bit of the western, a little bit of the samurai, a little bit of this and that mixed in. But
Hmm.
you know, so Mission Impossible 1 comes out, and it's a classic spy thriller. There's not many bells and whistles to it. It's pretty straightforward. But then The Matrix came out in 99. And then when Mission Impossible 2 came out, it was, you were talking about this the other day, movies that came out after The Matrix, where they were doing the slow mo and trying to do that
Hmm.
camera wrapping around the action thing. And they definitely do that in Mission Impossible 2. You can see the influence for sure. And
Yep.
so Keanu Reeves, you know, years later, he's coming in with John Wick, and it's having the same effect. Also, the director of this movie was the stunt coordinator for The Matrix, and he's been Keanu's stunt coordinator since then. So they've been working
Mm.
together for a while. They've made so many classic scenes together. You know, it's kind of wild to think of all the work they've done together. Just in
Yeah,
that first
legend.
Matrix, yeah, just in the first Matrix movie. I was seeing something the other day about the best action scenes of all time, and a couple of them were The Matrix. I didn't agree with the list entirely, but it was a top 10, and I think 3 of them were from the first Matrix movie. And it's like, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. The first
Mm.
Matrix movie is just it's so iconic. So this is a
Hmm.
same lineage, you know, got the same actor obviously, but same director, stunt guys, and they've been working together for a while. So,
That's
but
pretty cool.
yeah, it's a cool little behind the scenes thing there. I'm sure they had a lot of fun making this. The second big fight was the knife throwing scene.
In that like historical weapons
Yeah,
place.
yes,
That was pretty
yes.
sweet. I
Also
loved the knife
very
throwing
memorable, super
for
memorable.
sure.
I think it's the
Got some hatchets in there, and
yep.
oof.
Yep. Oh yeah, the last kill was that hatchet from down the
Yeah.
hall. But I loved the he's like he has to disassemble and he disassembles two 6-shooters and then reassembles one of them to fit the live ammo he's found. And the
Mm-hmm.
guy like pops in right as he's finishing it, and he does the
Headshot.
classic, yep, headshot, but he shoots from the hip, classic little hip shot, cowboy action. It's
Mm-hmm.
just another nod to the another classic genre. They go through a lot of them in this movie. They got the motorcycle chase. They have a horse chase. They have like, you know, the kung fu, the sword fighting, gunplay with all sorts of different guns. They got shotguns, assault rifles, all sorts of fun. As far as
Mm-hmm.
substance goes, you know, like we're not doing too much of a plot breakdown, right? I mean, boom, there it is. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's pretty much like what you said. He's excommunicado, and then there's some decisions at the end that kind of evolve from that, but
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
basically the plot. I mean,
Yep.
even at the very end, it's still kind of the plot.
That's still right,
uh,
right. There's no big twist or anything.
no,
Um,
I didn't think so.
I like
Well,
the what's that?
do you think that the owner of the hotel there do you think that he shot John in a way that he knew he would survive when he fell off the roof?
I do. I imagine
I think so.
he's also a trained assassin. He must be. So he
Hmm.
wanted to headshot the guy. He could have done it. Um,
That's what I
if
thought.
if Winston wanted him dead, um, I mean, he picked the second best way to do it. The first best way would have been to shoot him in the head. Second best way would be to just shoot him multiple times in the bulletproof suit until he falls over like a 10-story building. That was a bit much. It
Yeah,
was a bit much. Um,
yeah, for sure.
it. I mean, it's pretty. Would you say it's fairly believable watching it? I mean, okay, all right. It's not.
Mm. No,
Maybe I can reframe it. Like, all right, it's not that believable that this one guy could kill so many people. A lot of them probably, because I'm sure a lot of these guys are just henchmen. They don't have the training and all this stuff. Like, okay, but like when it comes to squads of bulletproof from head to toe, apparently bulletproof dudes who wiped out everyone else in the building in seconds. I'm not sure, but I would say that end moment when he falls off the building, spoilers, is it's really over the top. It's really over the top.
yeah. I mean, there's multiple scenes. I could just give you a quick list without getting into too many things, but these are the things that stuck out to me where I'm like, really? Like when he's fighting with the horses, you mentioned the horse scene, and
Yeah,
he like
true, true.
two or three different times manipulates the horse to like kick the guy
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
like bump him with his body.
Mm-hmm.
That was like silly to me. It was just kind of like the chances that you're gonna align this horse correctly so that it kicks this guy in the face, it just seems very unlikely to me.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
moving away from that, I mean, there was a lot of scenes, but I really didn't like at the end where three assassins in a row. So first there's the two Chinese, I'm saying Chinese, but I'm not positive, but I think they're Chinese. The two Chinese guys that have like those short curved
Right.
knives,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
they like help him up instead
Right.
of
They have
finishing
him.
him
They have him.
so
Yeah.
that he can kill them. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. That was kind of silly. They had a moment to kill him easily right
They
there.
did. They did.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the same thing happens with their leader multiple times. There's like three or four times that the bald Chinese guy could have killed them or him. There's one time when he just comes out up from the water
Mm-hmm.
and he's like he kills
Oh, that's
another
right.
one of the assassins,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
you're gonna die by my sword. But then at the same time, he sends like multiple of his students to kill Keanu right
Yeah.
after that.
Right. Right.
So that just didn't add up. And then when they're in their final showdown too, there's one scene where he's just standing over Keanu and like lets him get back up.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
just, I don't know. I tend to not like that kind of stuff in movies, so that was a little bit too much for me. But the fun of the movie is still there, and I think that any yes, could he kill any of the people that he kills in this movie? Absolutely. He's a believable, uh, top tier assassin, but he takes so much damage, so many fights. It's just like, how am I to believe he could still be fighting at this level? It just doesn't add up in that way, I don't think.
Yeah, it's fair. I will for a second time retract my mostly believable remark. Because it's like every
Yeah.
fight is a hospital. Like you're now gonna collapse and then be taken to a hospital fight.
Yeah.
Like everyone.
Yeah. Even the first one, like you
Even
mentioned
the
that he
first
got
one. Yeah.
stabbed in the shoulder in the library.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a
Mm-hmm.
big one that would have probably made his arm like almost not movable for the rest of the movie. But
Mm.
then even in that fight, like that giant guy kicks him in the sternum so hard and he goes
Mm. I remember
flying.
that shot.
And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, he
He
just
might
gets
break
up
some
kind of, and
things. Yeah.
there's a lot of that, but I think the plot armor of John Wick being John Wick is kind of what keeps
Mm.
it going. And I
Mm-hmm.
get that. It's,
It's almost like a
I
video
watch
game.
Naruto, so I totally get it.
It's almost like a video game. It's like a video game
Right.
movie. Um,
Yeah, right. He
oh,
just heals up like after like a few minutes
right.
of getting
Find
shot,
some. Yeah. Yep. He goes to the health kit in the bathroom. With that
Yeah.
said, Keanu, if you're listening, we drop a comment with your Activision account, and we'll totally make room in our squad for you. We play some Warzone, maybe. Imagine that.
Oh man, speaking of Warzone, I mean, how many times did you think of Warzone watching this movie? Like
I think 10 times. It was something like
at
10 times.
least,
It
at
was
least. Oh my God.
the one that was the most like it was in the final fight when he's fighting those armored guys and he gets the Benelli
Ah,
and he's just like
yes.
he's crouched on some like filing cabinet or something and they come in
Mm,
the room and
hmm.
he's just above them. Oh yeah, he gets the triple kill right there. That reminded me of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Warzone move for sure. But
That whole scene did, and I loved all of those like heavy armored dudes where he had to really kind of like grapple with them in order to get his gun up under their neck to shoot in between their
mm-hmm.
armor.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
really cool.
Yep,
I
that
think
was.
another moment that really made me think of Warzone was at the end of that fight when he's struggling with that guy underwater, and then he has to like slow mo
That was
grapple
cool.
him underwater and then shoot him
Yeah, that was a cool
again in
shot.
the neck.
Very cool
That was
shot.
cool.
There was a lot of really well executed shots in this movie. That was definitely one of them.
Hmm.
I'm not exactly
Hmm.
sure. I think like the other thing I mentioned, and there's a number of them in this movie. I think it's a little bit of CGI mixed in with mostly practical.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I'm sure.
just a very cool scene. Yeah, I don't know. Very creative.
Yeah.
Lots of creative things in the movie.
And I like it how they circled back with the the dog kind of starting it all off in this one or in
Mm-hmm.
the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then
Yep.
in this one, Halle Berry had her two dogs. Those must be Belgian Malinois,
I
I
was
would
gonna ask
guess.
you. I was gonna ask. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
look like it. Highly trained protection dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. Again, I'm gonna like poke some holes in it, but I think the holes are obvious. I don't think that I'm the only one who's noticing those things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the with the dogs, like I fucking love it. And this guy shoots the dog in the vest, and then Halle Berry's just like, I don't care what happens, I'm gonna fight like
Yeah.
50 dudes with heavy weaponry right now because you just shot my dog.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I like it. It's fun, but in that fight, and it's so fun watching those dogs attack and like listen to her calls, run up the wall, like
Really
all that
cool.
stuff.
Yeah,
I've
that
seen it
wall jump.
online.
Yeah, the wall jump was really
Yeah,
cool.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, those dogs would have gotten shot so much sooner in that scene. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
people. that could have shot them, and there's like they like see the dog coming and they kind of like act scared and like lower their weapons and then just
Right.
get like pounced on.
Yep.
It's kind
Yep.
of
It's
a
true.
little unbelievable as it's going on, but I love it.
Yep.
It's fun. It's very fun.
Very fun. I've never seen that in a movie either. And that's the thing about
No.
the John Wick movies. The first one and third one in particular. It's a lot of like, wow, I've never seen that before. I've never seen
Hmm.
like, especially it being Halle Berry. That was cool. She did the training with Keanu for this at Terran
Hmm.
Tactical, and her like loadout being just pistols and two dogs. It's pretty badass. Pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I loved her in it. Yeah, I would say I really liked all of the actors in this. There was one actress that I really didn't like. I don't know if you felt the same way watching it, but basically the high tables, uh, kind of short
Oh,
buzz cut woman.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
I think she's an
adjudicator.
awful actress. I don't know who she is or anything, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
none of the scenes that she was in worked for me. I
No.
don't know why,
No,
but
definitely
it just
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. The adjudicator, Asia Dillon.
yeah,
Yeah, she's
yeah.
I don't know if I've seen her in anything else, but yeah, just really stiff, and just every
Hmm.
scene she was in, it was just a repeat. Like she was just saying the same thing over
Yeah.
again. I liked when she called Winston while he's in his safe room, and Winston picks up and she's just like starts saying the same thing again, like I hope we can come to agreement with blah blah, and he doesn't even say anything. He just hangs up the phone.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it. It was like, yeah, it's just but yeah, Lawrence
Yeah.
Fishburne, it's kind of like I think he's a little cheesy or something about him that's a little bit much, but I
Is that
enjoyed.
Morpheus?
Yeah, yep. I
Yeah.
enjoy seeing him with Keanu again, the
Hmm.
Bowery King,
Yeah.
and it looks like they'll be teaming up for the fourth one. But it would be
Yeah.
cool to
And
get.
again, I think you're right. Like I think his character was cheesy, kind of like his dialogue seemed like it was
Right.
written a little bit cheesy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but he did a good job with it. You know what I mean? Whereas like that other girl we were just talking about, it felt like her dialogue was fine. I just didn't buy it like
I
at
got
all.
you.
Like what
Yep.
any time she was saying anything, I was just like, I don't feel like you would have this effect right now. I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
like you'd walk solo into all these situations
I was
and the
thinking
people
that.
say
Mm,
no.
yep.
They like Morpheus is not Morpheus, but the guy, and that's
Yeah, I'm gonna
Morpheus.
call him Morpheus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah, he's
called the
Morpheus.
Bowery
But
King
he's
in the movie. So
yeah, the Bowery King. He's just like, no, I'm not gonna listen. I'm the king. And she's just like, oh man, really? And
yeah.
like he doesn't like none of his guys shoot her or anything. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She
Mm-hmm.
just has this kind of like unreasonable protection on her. And I get her position,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like even when people are choosing to defy the high table,
Like it's
you're
already a death
safe
sentence.
somehow.
It's already a death
Yeah,
sentence. So why? I
exactly.
agree. Yep, I agree for sure.
So many times, so
Yep.
many times.
Yep.
So that was my honestly my biggest complaint was virtually every scene with her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just did not buy it at all.
Yep.
But on the
Yep.
contrast, Halle Berry, even though it was maybe a little bit cheesy how
I see.
like
I
they had
think so
their meet up
too.
again and
I
stuff,
mean, I think it all is
she's
kind of
just good.
cheesy. I'm not even saying
Yeah.
that in a super dismissive way. Like, I just think it's kind of. I think the dialogue is kind of cheesy, and I think the acting is a little bit
Hmm. Hmm.
overplayed, and I think it's part of
Yeah,
the style they're going for. I do think it's
for
somewhat
sure.
purposeful. I mean, the last lines of the movie is like, oh shit, what was it? Lawrence Fishburne says something like, "We're gonna go get him, and you coming?" And Keanu's just like, "Yup." Like that's like the whole movie in a nutshell. But I
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
it. It makes me laugh a lot. This movie, even rewatching it now, like it did make me laugh quite a few times, either from the brutal violence or those little cheesy lines, the guns, lots of guns. Like
Yep.
I
Oh,
don't
I
know.
laughed pretty hard when those horses kicked the guy. So
See,
even
the
though it
first
was
time, right?
silly, I
I did.
laughed.
I laughed out loud. The so he does it once, And that is hilarious. He does it again a minute later, and he does the double kick, and I didn't laugh because
Mhm.
they should have just done it the one time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was like that was his. He just unlocked a finishing move, so he just wanted to use it
Yeah.
again.
Yep, yep. His power
But
move for
there was a
sure.
couple characters who I thought were really cheesy on paper, but they just sold it really well. Like the Russian mom lady,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
mom, but you know who I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
like that dialogue was extremely cheesy because she's just like, I'm not gonna help you. There's no way I can help you. There's no way I can help you. Fine, I'll help you.
Yeah.
And it
Right.
was just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
you know, I saw it coming, but I loved it. Like I loved her in essence.
Mm-hmm.
Another character who I thought was even similar to the woman from the high table with the buzz cut was the what's the black dude's name who was working for the hotel
Oh
and he was
yeah,
in
I
it a
like him.
lot.
Yeah.
But I liked him. It was like you're kind of similar. Like you're just going in very simple. You're not like there's not much character to you. You're just kind of like charming and untouchable. But like it worked really well, I
Mm-hmm.
thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a nice
Um,
touch. He's a nice touch.
yeah.
He's you think he's just like running the register essentially, but he's got his own skills as well and his own team as
Mm,
we see, but they're not very effective apparently. But
right,
yeah,
right.
he's a nice little touch to the cast. But yeah, oh my god. Spiders crawling down right in front of my face from the ceiling.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my, I just John Wicked him though. It's cool. I got him. Um
Oh
But
man.
it would be cool to see since they're really playing into the homages to past movies and stuff. It would be cool to get Carrie Ann Moss, who played Trinity. That'd be kind of neat. I don't think she's gonna be
Ooh.
in the fourth one, but that would be the move. It would be like, all right, so you
Mhm,
have
mhm.
Keanu and Lawrence teaming up. You got Neo and Morpheus. Come on, get Trinity together. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. After the Matrix 4, I don't know if I ever want to see her again, but I guess
Ooh.
it might work. If it wasn't in the Matrix, maybe. I don't know. I
Oh,
just weep
dude.
when I think of her now.
What if that's the thing? What if these aren't plot holes at all? It's not plot armor at all. He's in the Matrix. What if this is all like,
Oh,
because after
dude.
Matrix Resurrections, it changed everything. He was in the Matrix this
Hmm.
whole time. He was making games. What if this is his game? Oh my god.
Dude, it could be. That would actually like make it all make a lot more sense.
That
For sure. For sure.
that'd be kind of that
Man,
would
but
be
some
kind of
cool
fun.
settings and the camera work I felt like was top
It's
notch. Like
great. It
even
really
from the
is. Yeah.
very beginning, it's
Mm-hmm.
dark in the city, but like the lighting that they use and like the color
I
scheme,
love the
you know,
color
and I'm
scheme.
not
Mm-hmm.
a visual effects person, but I could just see like how like masterful they made everything look from beginning to end. I
Absolutely.
really loved that about it.
Yeah, this room right here, the armory, the safe room, very cool
Mhm.
looking. What they do with the lighting, I love how I keep thinking about this after I saw a video of this guy. He's a veteran. He's been in a lot of stuff, lots of fights. I think he's done some pretty secretive stuff, and so he's got what's that Schwarzenegger movie? Is it True Lives? Where he's got the
Ooh,
shed.
I'm not sure.
He's got a shed in his backyard, and he goes to it, and it's like a gun room underneath, and he's got. So this guy has quite a security setup at his home, and one of the things he did was he
Mm,
had the um the power, what do you call it, the not the fuses, but where you turn the power on and off for your
the
house,
breaker.
the breaker. Yeah, he had it moved to his bedroom so he can just cut the power
Mm,
to the house if he needs to. Pitch black, and then of
yeah.
course he's got night vision and all this stuff on his gun, so he can just go pitch black. So
Mm,
I mentioned that because they've got a similar situation here, except instead of going pitch black, they just do neon because it looks cool, I guess.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah. They're
wow,
like,
dude,
here's
this
some green lights.
dude, Matrix. Matrix
And then
tie-in.
what does he
Come
say? It's like set the
on.
mood for our guest or something.
Exactly. Right. Right. They're like, it is
God.
Neo. I mean, come on. Like,
Mm,
it's got that green lighting. Like, is that what they're
yeah.
playing into that?
I really liked when they were fighting with the swords at the end. And I liked that room a lot, you know, with the samurai armor and
Also
the
very
glass
cool.
skulls and all that glass that was just
Mm.
breaking in the fight. Like
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
just looked really cool. It was a good like final boss
It was,
stage,
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know.
Very much reminded me of Skyfall, James Bond Skyfall, directed by Sam Mendes, and the director of photography was Deakins, Roger Deakins, and it's a classic,
Okay.
classic fight scene. Very, very cool scene, and this very much reminded me of it. They also are playing with mirrors and glass and cool lighting in that scene, so this was kind of a
Mm.
maybe an homage to that as well. That's a classic scene, but I very much liked this room as well. It's a cool building, the
Mhm.
Continental, that's for
Mhm.
sure. Um,
Well, if it was an homage from Skyfall, then Skyfall would be an homage to Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee because
oh,
that's a all about the mirrors and the last boss fight and
that's
the glass
right.
and
Yeah,
is pretty
maybe.
similar. You know, obviously old version,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
but it had some
also classic.
similarities. The samurai armor
Mm-hmm.
on the walls, like
Mm-hmm.
it reminded me of that.
That's a great movie. That's a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think my
Mm-hmm.
my favorite fight in this is it might be the knife fight towards the beginning in the long
Mm-hmm.
hallway where they just got lots of glass cases with knives. Also very cool
Mm-hmm.
glass work, like lots of throwing people through glass and smashing glass to get the weapons behind the glass. And I don't know how they make
Yeah.
that stuff. It's a pretty cool material, whatever it is. Um, so it's
Mm-hmm.
different. Like
Mm-hmm.
in this fight scene at the end in this glass room, the glass shatters like a car window or windshield, but in the glass in the hallway knife fight scene, it's more like a pane of glass would, like a house window or
Mm-hmm.
something, where it's large chunks of glass. You know what I mean? It's different. Very,
Yeah, yeah.
very different
I have a
glass.
question for you. Maybe
Mm.
you noticed this, and I was wondering, I didn't rewind to check, but
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, he's in like the desert and he meets up with those Middle Eastern folk that's like the top of the high table, you know,
Yep.
um,
Yep.
or whatever. So he's there, and the guy's like, "We're gonna give you another chance. You just have to be an assassin for us, etc." And then he says, "I just want your ring." And then Keanu chops his finger off to give him the ring. Did he ask for his finger,
I think it's
or did he just cut his finger off?
I mean you wear a wedding ring. It's kind of hard to get off sometimes, right?
Yeah. He's like, I don't see any dish soap, so I'm just gonna cut it off for you.
Yeah. I think like the Russian woman with the ballet, how she gets stabbed
Hmm.
through the hands. I think it's like
Hmm.
a part of the rules. It's like, all right, you're not death sentence in trouble, but we need some kind of penance.
Blood. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what
I
that
just
is.
wasn't sure
But
because it sounded like he was already agreeing to it and that the
hmm
terms were just you have to start killing for us again and I want your ring.
that would be
But
hilarious
I
if
don't know.
it would be funny if he did that and the guy was just like, "Oh, like you didn't need to do that. Like we were just gonna let you go. We just needed the ring."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. He's like, I want my assassin all in one piece, so
Exactly. True.
maybe keep your
True.
finger.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
True.
And maybe I missed it. Maybe he tells him for the finger. I thought he just said he wanted the ring, but
I
I
don't
don't
think he
know.
does, but I think there's a lot of stuff in the movie that is pretty good storytelling in that it's implied stuff. It's not super explicit about a lot of the
Hmm.
rules and stuff like
Their
that.
code and yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah, yeah.
code and like they imply a lot of things. So when something weird like that happens, you just assume like, oh, this is part of this is what they do now. And well, so the two samurai towards the end that you mentioned before, I love how he fights them with the belt. Awesome,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
think it was an honor thing, and they
Yeah.
mention because they're beating him up pretty good at there's like two stages of the fight. In the first stage, they win, like they both have him at knife
Dead
point.
to rights.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of mocking him to each other. They're like, "Oh, this is him," like John Wick, and one of them's like, "Yeah, he's been retired for 5 years," and they're like, "I don't know," like, well, they expected more, and they can obviously see he's really beat up and stuff. So I think it was like part of their honor code.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And but he does let them live at the end. he
Yeah, I
he lets
saw
them
that.
go
That was
too.
full circle, but you know, it's just like how many bodies did he just pile up? Like, in what world would you let him live if you're part of that organization? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know. It
yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and I did see that they brought it full circle where he let them live, but you know, and when the bald guy has the katana through his chest and he
Yeah,
gets up and he's like,
I'll
"That was
catch
a
up.
pretty good fight, right?"
Mhm.
That was funny.
I
That was
like that.
funny. I laughed pretty good at that one. Oh
Keanu,
goodness.
classic response. Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah.
That's what he says. Yeah.
I know. He still sounds so like manly and macho, even though he's not like wheezing or like really that out of breath. He's just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yep.
That was good.
I
That was good.
picture, and I hope it's true. I do picture like when they cut, like he laughs, like I that's what I picture. I don't think he gets up. I don't think they're taking it that seriously. You know what I mean? I think they did a great job. I
Hmm.
think the movie is what they wanted it to be, which is like
Yeah.
super memorable fight scenes, top notch choreography. It
Hmm.
really is. I don't know who does better fight choreography, and then like we're gonna have fun with it. Super simple plot. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Bring in some actors that people recognize. Throw in a couple lines that people like from the Matrix. Bam.
Yep.
Chapter
Yep.
3.
I would agree. I think the mainly the gun choreography is top notch. Like
It's
there's
really
not much
amazing.
that beats it. Those knife throwing
Mm-mm.
scenes were pretty cool as well. But it's in terms of the kung fu, you know, I've seen a lot of movies that are on the same level or better than this,
Agreed.
I think. But
Yeah. Yeah.
those gun you know, and it's all of it together. The sequences that have the shooting, they have the knife fights, they have the sword fights, they have
Mm-hmm.
horses. It's just like, you know, all of it together makes it a pretty unique choreography. Oh, another
That's
thing that
true.
I didn't like. Okay,
Mm.
so they're coming on the motorcycles, right? And now he has six guys behind him. They all
Yeah.
unsheathed katanas.
Yep.
It's pretty
Which looked
cool.
pretty
But
cool.
in my head, I'm like, why are they all left-handed? All six of these guys have the
Oh.
katana in their left hand. And like, even, you know, so I'm like, okay, the guys that the katana is on their left, like, or Keanu's on their left. This makes sense. But why are the ones on the other side not taking it out in their right hand? And there might be some significance to that with like the kind of sword they were using.
Mm-hmm.
Because I call it a katana, but I think it's not that because it was shorter than a katana.
Right, it was.
I
Yeah.
think it's something else that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not naming correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But it did stick out to me that they were all left-handed, and I'm just wondering
Mm-hmm.
why they chose that.
It
So
might have
I'll look
been
into that.
it might have been because it looked
Might
cool.
might have been. I think it would have looked cooler though if they all unsheathed the swords towards the direction that he was. Like the ones on the left pull it out on their right, and the ones on the right pull it out to their left. I
Mm.
don't know. It just my brain was like, why are they all on the left?
Mm. I didn't
But
even notice
you
that.
know, little
Yeah.
things.
Right,
And
right.
again, I think it might have to do with the style of sword they were using, and I need to look it up. But um,
Tonto sword? Does
yeah,
that
I
sound
think that
familiar?
is what it is.
A Tonto?
Um,
Yeah.
I'll do some Tonto research and see
Mm.
what I come
Mm-hmm.
back with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, no, I noticed some things here and there, a little bit of this and that, but it was pretty fun.
Hmm.
It was pretty fun. I was still enjoying it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You mentioned the pistol that they were using. That they both ended up. Him and Halle Berry are fighting with the dogs against all of those people in Casablanca, and they end up with these pistols. You named it, but sounded so loud and like beefy. It was like, oh my God, like I don't want to get shot
yeah,
by that.
yeah. So I think it's the 5.7. which is a Russian pistol where it's chambering a rifle round. And I won't be able to find it right now. Well, I can. Let me look up to see if it is. Yeah. Anyways, it's a beefy pistol, whatever it is. I think it is the 5.7, but it's shooting something. It's not shooting 9mm. That's for sure.
Mm, mm.
5.7.
Yeah, that sounded cool. The way that they captured the sound too in the film was pretty cool. It sounded very badass.
Here it is. A Terran. So yeah, a number of the weapons are Terran tactical custom. So this shot here, you can see one. So
Mm.
in the final fight, when he gets all armored up finally for the first time, he's basically running around with no guns the whole time, the whole movie, and then he's just stealing other people's guns after he kills them. And he finally gets all armored up and everything, and so he's got this rifle here, and
Mm.
it looks like a 9mm. So I believe that this rifle. So you can see the Terran Tactical logo here. That's where he's been training for years now. I mean, he's probably been doing gun training. Oh, I mean, it might be before John Wick even that he was into it. But the John Wick movies have been around for like 6 years now, so he's been doing it for a while, and he's definitely brought them a lot of business. That's for sure. This would be a dream bachelor party for sure to go to Terran Tactical. But
Yeah.
so yeah, he's got this custom rifle. I'm sure all the info about it is online. I haven't looked into it, but it looks like a 9mm magazine there. And so remember, he's fighting for a little bit, and then he goes back to the safe room and says like, "I need more firepower." So he,
Yeah, and then he takes that beefy shotgun.
yeah,
Oh my God.
The Benelli. So
Mm.
this is the Benelli M4 Dream Shotgun, absolute machine. So, yep, there it is right there. So, it's got this side loader here, or it's got like an extra shell right
Mhm.
there. So, with his left hand, while he's holding it with his right hand, he can pull back a shell and then load it in. And as he throws it in the chamber, he closes the chamber and it's ready to shoot, which he does in the movie maybe a couple times. He definitely does it at least once, maybe twice. And
Mhm.
so yeah, in this video, you can see he's loading 2 shells at a time. So he just loaded 4 shells. This is why we need him on the
Yeah.
Warzone squad. Um,
Yeah, for sure,
boom,
man.
2,
I mean,
4, yeah,
this is a lot like
boom,
the
boom.
feeling of Maverick with Tom Cruise, where it's like, there's this certain amount of respect for the movie magic, but when you know that they put this much time
Mm-hmm.
off
Mm-hmm.
camera to like really learn the weaponry that they're using, in Maverick it was the jet that he was flying, but in this it's like I've watched several videos of Keanu and Halle Berry training with these weapons
Mm.
for this movie, and
Yep.
it's
Yep.
pretty cool. Like they are definitely drawing pistols and firing them with accuracy much faster than a lot of law enforcement would be.
Oh
Like
yeah,
they
for sure.
trained a
For
lot
sure.
for this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's pretty cool. It's a very cool aspect of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. It is. It might be the most important one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's the selling point for me. That's the selling point for me, for sure. For
Mm-hmm.
sure. I don't think I saw
Yep.
the first one, maybe 2 for a while. I think it wasn't until the third one was coming out in 2019 that I paid attention
Oh,
because of these training videos.
gotcha.
It might have been before the second one came out, but what I remember is I wasn't interested, and then I saw somebody told me about these training videos online, and I started checking these out, and I was like, oh my god, he's a beast. This is competitive shooting. Like he could easily
Yeah.
be a competitive shooter. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Right. I'm not saying he's the best in the world at it, but he's definitely put the time in to be a force to be reckoned with.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Terran Tactical, that's what they do full time. Is so they
Hmm.
train
Hmm.
actors. They're in Las Vegas. A lot of actors go there to train. There's lots of videos of different actors there, but their full time thing is training competitive shooters. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I would be interested to see if that's something he's gone into. Where he's competitive.
I don't know. I've
Competition
watched a couple of
shooter.
these tactical shooters that aren't actors, and they're pretty insane.
They
They're
are.
pretty insane.
They are.
I think I not to downplay Keanu because again, I think it's really, really impressive, and I know how much time he put in just watching how fast he's doing a lot of this.
Right.
But you know, like for like in the movie, it's a lot of headshots, and
For
it's
sure.
not necessarily all headshots when he's trying to like unload his guns on all the different bodies in the range. But he's hitting them all. You know, like again, like super,
That's
super
see.
impressive. I
That's what
would
I'm
want to
thinking.
try to like break into Keanu Reeves' house, you know? Um,
I don't think you
n-
would.
no,
I'll put
no.
it this way. I think the separation between John Wick and Keanu Reeves is less than Tom Cruise and Ethan Hunt.
Mm,
Like I think Tom
mm,
Cruise can like
mhm.
run fast and he does a lot of his own stunts and stuff like that. But I don't know if I would be surprised, but I don't know anything about him being like a really good shot. But I know Keanu Reeves is a really good shot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
These are real guns he's
Oh yeah.
shooting. And he does the 3-gun course, which is you start with a shotgun or a rifle. You do part of the course with that. You switch to a handgun, and then on the course somewhere is the shotgun or rifle. So whichever one you started with, you go to the third gun will be the other one. So it'll be start with the
Hmm.
shotgun, go to the handgun, and then switch to a rifle. And it's obviously timed, and then you have time deducted for every miss. So
Mm.
that's what he's doing.
I mean, I know in my head he's a top gunner. He's a top G because my favorite action scene of all time is the Matrix 1, the lobby scene. I
Yes, yes.
love that scene. And like he looks convincing, even though he's doing cartwheels and stuff, where he's unloading and putting new clips in quick and like you know, running tactically, looking through the scope. Like I know he wasn't at the level he is now with it,
Right,
but
right.
that's an awesome scene and I know it holds up. I recently watched that scene, not the whole movie, but and oh man, I
Yeah,
love
it's a
that scene.
definitely a great scene for sure. Um, yeah, it would be kind of awesome. That would be another nod, another homage. I would love to see if he does a cartwheel shootout in one of his in John Wick 4 maybe. But
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going for more realism in these movies, despite the some of the cheesier aspects. But the like
mhm,
the
mhm.
gunplay in the fighting, they're going for moment to moment realism. Like they're not freezing the camera and wrapping around as he's fighting, because I think it takes you out of the realism in a way. And you know, just the way that the cameras are operating on him in John Wick 3, it keeps you feeling like this is one fast-paced scene. Even if they're cutting, it doesn't
Yes,
feel like
yes.
they're cutting it. You know
Mhm,
what I mean?
mhm.
Like
Agreed.
it feels really like live action, like it's happening like right now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Agreed. Agreed. You and I have shot some guns. I
Once or twice.
I'm not sure what the difference is between what he's doing in this video playing right now and what a competitive shooter does. Like
Hmm.
it's pretty remarkable. Even just the opening shoot, these 4 targets, 5 targets, and just this is John Wick 1. This is years old. So
Hmm.
switches to the
Hmm.
pistol,
He's
gets
probably
some
better
pistol
now.
kills. Yeah, yeah, I would. But that might be another point to raise, and kind of in line with the competitive shooter, like the difference between him and a competitive shooter. Like, how much better could you get? Like, I'm not even sure.
Mm.
So I think the getting better would be different. You know, it's not just being proficient with a shotgun, but being able to throw 6 shells into a shotgun in 2 seconds. Like
Hmm.
crazy, crazy. So I don't
I would
know. I
have to
love
do some
Keanu.
research on it, but my gut feeling without doing the research is just that there are people who are insane at this. And I
Yep.
think that he is really, really good.
Hmm.
My gut feeling is that there's people who this is
The
like their life and they
world
just
class for sure,
breathe bullets.
for sure, for sure. No, no, that's true. That's true. Like to get to the top 1% is almost impossible for most people. Um,
Right.
so
Right. But
regardless of
I
training and
could
all
be
that,
wrong.
like
Maybe Keanu could compete with these people. I would have to look it up. He definitely is impressive.
I see what you mean with world class. Maybe not. Like if he came to Greenville and went to they have competitive 3-gun. They have 3-gun competitions in Greenville. I think if you showed up there, he'd win. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
But in like
You're probably right.
nationals, maybe not.
Right.
We'll see him
But
in the
Texas
Olympics
though,
next.
I don't know.
Yeah, true, right. But yeah, so it was fun. It's a fun movie. You know, it's not gonna like.
I'm gonna have to wrap it up because
Yep, that's good
my
timing.
crew just got home.
Okay, sounds good, man. Well, that's John Wick 3, everybody. We'll be checking out the next one